Hello guys, welcome to today's video. I hope you guys have been having a wonderful week. I wanted to do a video on some of the things that I learned over the weekend at the We All Grow Latina conference, which is a conference for Latinos and Hispanic women especially. And I am just so happy that something like that even exists, because it's so important for us to have events like this where we can all meet up and we can learn from each other. We can also uplift, share our stories, our struggles, what we've been through, what did we do to overcome, and how did we overcome an obstacle. Okay, I hope you guys like all my plants in my background. So I decided to bring plants into my beauty room because my makeup room is actually evolving as I'm getting older also, and something that makes me so happy. And since this is my space, and actually for a while, I have to be honest with you guys, I didn't even want to come inside my makeup room because I was so uninspired by just the environment in here that I didn't even want to spend time in here. And I always wanted to have a room in my home where it was like my little getaway, where I could just, you know, close the door and paint and draw and put makeup on, or just do whatever I wanted to do in a room. And it then somehow became into a place where I didn't even want to come in. So one of the things that makes me really happy are plants. I have them all over my home. You guys know I have a deep connection with Mother Nature and plants outside of my home. So we've been bringing a lot more plants indoor, and I wanted to introduce some of my babies in the background. I do talk to my plants. I put crystals on them because they come from Mother Nature and they're beautiful stones. I'm going to be including a lot more plants and flowers in my background. So anyways, so yeah, the conference was amazing. Wellness Day was the last day, which was on Sunday. We did this really great exercise. It was a meditation exercise, and like I said, it was the first time meditating. And Linda, aka Luz Warrior, Linda guided us through a meditation where she made us come into ourselves and think of a word. Right? We're gonna think of a word that is holding you back. And the word, I'm just gonna share it with you guys. The word that I chose was self-doubt, because that's something that I struggle with a lot. And then she made us envision ourselves walking in between an ocean that had parted, and the walls were really high. And I remember feeling in my mind, feeling the walls of the ocean. And the ocean was just sucking all of this negative energy, all the negative thoughts away from me as I was touching the water. And I was just walking in and deeper into the ocean, just straight on the ocean bed. And then we envisioned stairs that led down a golden door. And behind that golden door were our ancestors. All the women from my bloodline that came before me centuries ago. Don't you ever wonder about these women? Like, who are these women? It's my mom, and then mi mamá Maria y mi mamá Feliz, which is my great grandma. I was so blessed to meet her, and when I was a little girl in Mexico. And after that, I don't know who my great grandma's mom was. And then what about her mom, and then her mom, and then all my tias from a long, long time ago? Like, who are these women? What were they like? I was just thinking about all of that, actually. And it just made me really emotional, because my grandma, mi mamá Maria, who lives in Mexico, and I'm so, so grateful that she's still alive. She prays for us all the time. Like, she's a huge prayer. She's from the Catholic religion, so she prays the rosary all the time. And she actually gave me one of her rosaries because I wanted something spiritual from her. And I actually hang it in Isaac's bedpost, so it protects Isaac too at night and everything. And he's so aware of my Mama Maria, his great grandma. Don't know what happens in the next afterlife, but I hope that there's like a spiritual world on the other side where you're able to connect with your ancestors. But I was just thinking about all these women who came before me, and also mi Mama Irene, rest in peace, is my dad's mom. And I thought about them, this group of women from my tribe, this group of women standing behind this gold door, waiting for me. and they were there to deliver a message to me. And I wasn't in this deep meditation state, and I actually didn't go in that deep into meditation because I know we were timed, and it's just, I feel like if I would have been in that state a little longer, I could have connected a little bit more. But I honestly felt like I connected with the group of women, my ancestors, and also I connected with my grandma, my Mama Irene. And the message that I got, the feeling that I got was that they were very strong women. So I come from a line of women who are resilient, who are strong, and that it's okay to have that self-doubt, but know that there's really nothing valid behind it for me to feel self-doubt. So that was very emotional. Actually, that's the point where I started shedding tears, because it was like I had never thought about all these women that came before me. I had never thought about trying to somehow connect through my mind, through my spirit, to them. Who they were has so much to do with who I am today. And I really feel like the reason I am, my sisters, my family, I feel like the reason we are so blessed with a lot of love and abundance in love and in health, it's because my grandma prays for us all the time, and because I come from a line of women who are very spiritual and have a really strong faith. So that was really beautiful. That's when I shed a tear, and one of my friends actually was sitting next to me, and she was shedding a tear. And she also made us Luz, Linda. I want to call her Luz because she's like Luz Warrior, but her real name is Linda. But I just feel like Luz because she's a light, and she was wearing an orange sweater, which just made her light up, and she has like this beautiful voice that is so therapeutic. She also made us sit in a circle, so we were all sitting in a really huge circle, all these women, all of our energies together, all of us connecting into ourselves and going inside and into our mind. And we sat by age, so there were some girls in their 20s, and then a group of us in our 30s, and then 35, all the way up to maybe 50 or 40. And then she just made us realize visually how, you know, when you're in your 20s, you're a virgin. It's not a sexual reference in that meaning. It's more of like you just came into this world, even though you have 20 years, 25 years, you just came into this world and you're learning, right? And then when you're in your 30s and your 40s, this is like a motherly stage in life. And I totally feel like that because I was actually looking at a picture of from when I did something with 17 magazine, like my first ever magazine appearance, or like any sort of big thing that I ever did on YouTube. It was with 17 magazine, and I should probably show it to you guys. All right, so here it is. This is me. I look completely different. I went to New York with by myself. I went to New York for less than 24 hours. I remember this day. And I was just reflecting, like, this is almost going to be 10 years ago. I was 21. So this year, actually in August, it's going to be 10 years since I did this. So I was just thinking of how I used to feel back then and how I feel now. I used to be a very, I feel like I was going to say scared, but I feel brave. I do feel brave. I think I've been a pretty brave girl, you know, just to like sort of say, yes, let's go to New York by myself. One of those things. But I was very unsure of who I was. I 100% did not love this girl. I felt like she was worthless. Because that's how I used to feel. And even like the way that I felt unintelligent. I used to feel a lot of things about myself. And it's just like, I think that's how it is on your 20s sometimes. You're trying to figure out who you are. And I feel completely different now. I really honestly do love who I am and myself and everything about me. I feel a lot more self-confidence. I have more, way higher self-esteem, because I definitely didn't have self-esteem here. But it's just about the journey. You know, like, it's okay, because I know in your 20s, sometimes, and especially if you are coming up in your 20s right now, you have a lot of pressure from everybody. Sometimes you see other girls your age that are, what it seems like, they're killing it. They're doing all these awesome things, and maybe they're doing some really cool, extravagant thing on Instagram, on social media, and then it makes you feel like, well, I'm not doing that. My life sucks because I'm not doing that, right? It makes you feel like that, or you feel like you have to have it all figured out already. But I'm always like, you're in your 20s. You're supposed to feel this way, because this is when you're starting to be like, wait, who am I? What do I like? What do I want to do? I want to believe in myself. I want to have more self-confidence. I want to have more, I want to love myself more above anything. How do I love myself? And I am telling you, because I used to wish there was a pill to give you confidence. I used to wish there was something magical that could happen, that I could just somehow love myself. It takes getting to know yourself, and it takes accepting where you are right now, okay? Because you are where you're supposed to be. Trust and believe that is so true. Just be okay with it, and just know life always gets better. As you continue to work on you, life is going to get better for you. I really do believe that. So anyways, so now I'm in my motherly stage, you know, I'm in my 30s, and I want to learn so much more about this. But it was so interesting because she was also telling us about our periods and how we could have a deeper connection with ourselves if we understand our periods. She actually has a podcast, and I'm going to link it down below because I just started listening to it today. And as we moved along and the women started to get older and we reached like the 40s and 50s, ooh, the 60s, 70, 80, 90, that's like a different level. That's like wisdom. That's like to be respected. Every stage is to be respected. We're going up, we're getting older, our mind is expanding, we're growing, we're believing in ourselves more, we're gaining our power back, we're realizing some of the things that our preconceived ideas and beliefs, we're starting to see that a lot of those don't define who we are and really have nothing to do with us. And that's when we start to, that's what I'm telling you, like when you start falling in love with who you are, all of these little puzzle pieces start coming together because it starts making sense. So that was a really beautiful experience. And at the very end, we did another exercise in which she passed around. We all like stood up, and she's just so incredible. I absolutely loved what she did. I just want to tell you guys all about it because it was just so incredible. But she made us all stand up, and we stood in a circle. And then she had this roll of red string, like this really nice, thick, soft red string. And she said, okay, grab a little piece, wrap it around, unroll it, pass it to the next person, and then you wrap it around and you just keep passing it. So basically we're all connected. And then when we were done, we stood back and we could feel there was more tension. And for example, if one of us wants to go like this and raise our arm up and high, if the person next to me on both ends is now holding their arm up, if they're pulling it down, I'm not going to be able to hold my hand up. But if we all lift our hand up, it's easy, and we can rise to the top. It's easier. And it just made me think about how that was such a powerful exercise to visually see how important it is to support one another as women and women in general. But I'm telling you, as a Mexican woman, it's so important for me to have other women next to me that understand the struggle of being brown. There is a struggle with being brown. I got my little bag and they had an artist who was lettering whatever we wanted into these black bags, and I chose Morenita because I am really proud of my brown skin. It's so important to really uplift each other and not be judging each other and help each other. I think there's also a mentality that we have to be competitive as women because there's not enough opportunities out there. That is a complete and total false idea. There is so much abundance everywhere, and for us, especially as Latinos, as Hispanic women, we really have to do our best to support each other. If there's a business, support it. If there's a movie, television show, radio, podcast, YouTube channel, and just emotionally also support the people who are creating these things, because if we don't support each other, who else is going to come and support us? Who else? And we have to change that narrative for the whole country, for the whole world, and even more opportunities can be created if you and I help each other out instead of me trying to do everything on my own. That's like impossible, and we can't. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I just had a really wonderful time, and I just wanted to share some of the most important things that I learned throughout this whole time. Last thing that I wanted to say before I sign off today is that I realized that there is a lot of judgment on my videos, which I don't even understand because nothing, I don't, well, actually I do, I understand. I always say I don't understand why there's so much judgment. I totally understand. I think when people are judgmental, it comes from a place of like, I'm better than you. And what you're doing is wrong. You should do what I do, or you should believe what I believe, because your opinion is not valid unless it's what I believe. And I feel like that's where judgment comes, and comes from a place of feeling like you're better and your decisions are better than the other person. I encourage you guys to hold that feeling into yourself and just hold it. Don't release it. Don't spread more judgmental energy out there, because it's gonna come back and affect you. It's gonna come back and someone is going to judge you, and the way that you make somebody else feel, you're gonna feel that times 3, and it's gonna be bad. It's not a healing energy. When people are being judgmental, it's not a positive energy that you're putting out. And you don't want that. You know, you want to only attract positive energy, positive things around your environment. If somebody is just being plain mean and judgmental, then I think the best way to go about it is to, honestly, and we've heard it all before, like you hear, be the bigger person. But the thing that really clicked in my mind and the way that I started seeing it differently was that at this time in my life, I feel like my energy level, my positivity, even if I'm not feeling like completely 100% up and happy and positive energy all the time, because that's not reality either. If I do see a negative comment, I do not feel bad for blocking and deleting. And actually, I was talking to this girl this one time, another YouTuber, and she tried to shame me for blocking people. You should not be ashamed of blocking and deleting people. I actually enjoy that, because it's like I'm clearing out this negative energy. You can clear it out yourself by doing so. And when people are in a negative state of mind and they're being negative and judgmental, they're also in a very low frequency. They're vibrating down here, or they're barely vibrating at all. And when you're positive and you're uplifting people, you're up here, right? So you have 2 different levels. So you're positive and you're negative. And if you're going to respond to them, that means you have to go down here. If you're going to respond with more hate, you're going to try to just get back at them like a person you've never met. You are literally going from here, happy, positive energy, to down here so you can talk to them. And the best thing to do is either feed it more light and more love, or just block and delete that person so you don't have to deal with it. But when I started to just see hate in a form of energy, because it made so much sense to me that I don't want to go down here, because it doesn't feel good to be down here. I want to stay up here, and the best way to stay up here is to not interact with this energy and the negative and judgmental comments or people who are behind them. So I just wanted to put that out there, because there's like an abundance of negative energy also that comes to my channels sometimes, and that's just the best way to go about dealing with that kind of situation and with people. Because I know for a lot of you that have YouTube channels, that have blogs, that put pictures up, I know that the hate is there, but you should never let that stop you from doing anything that you want to do. I just wanted to share that with all of you because I did meet a lot of creators, and I do meet a lot of people who tell me that they want to start YouTube channels, and I don't want other people to be the reason why you don't start doing what you want to do. Forget about them. Who cares if it's like people in high school or, you know, friends in your life. Actually, I wouldn't even call them friends if they did that, if they judged you for doing something that you want to do. But honestly, if you start doing something and you encounter somebody in your family or somebody in your circle of acquaintances in your day-to-day life, and they judge you and they make you feel ashamed for what you're doing, take that as a sign that they need to be out of your life, that they are not someone who is going to lift and encourage and uplift you. Because if it's something you want to do and these people are not encouraging you, then you know very clear that these people should not be in your life because they're gonna hold you back. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!